and towards any pre-owned vehicle in stock, and we're loaded with them, so we're having a pre-owned liquidation. Hurry in for a minimum 10 grand for even the worst trade, and just think how much more you'll get for a good quality trade. As for new Chevys, unlike other dealers, Bennett's not selling over a factory sticker. Plus, there's 0% available financing. Stuck in a lease? We can get you out early, any make, any model, and we'll buy your vehicle even if you don't buy one of ours. Stop in for a quick quote. Never any pressure, never any obligation, because our non-commissioned sales staff is paid on your satisfaction, not how much you spend. So come on and find new roads at Bennett Chevrolet, Egg Harbor Township, and BennettChevy.com.
South Jersey's play-by-play home for the Eagles,
Touchdown!
Sixers, and Flyers.
He scored!
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD Millville, Atlantic City, a Town Square media station. This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app. Now, live from the Matt Black Kia Studios.
What a move!
Here's Josh Hennig.
We are counting down the hours to the start of the official NBA offseason, and we have clarity on James Harden. We have clarity on a lot of different players' futures as we get you ready for the NBA offseason here on 97.3 ESPN FM and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle City. Yes, I am Josh Hennig hanging out with you on a Wednesday, middle of the week, as you know, means it's a Weinberg Wednesday. Dave Weinberg will join us coming up in less than 20 minutes from now. A lot to get to with him on the show today. Before we get to any of the Eagles stuff, before we get to any of those things, we have Phillies and Sixers stuff to hit on. You can join the conversation, as always, at 609-403-0973. You also can DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle City. Now, the top of the show news is Harden, okay? James Harden did the right thing today. Now, I don't know why it took up to the 5 o'clock deadline for the news to come out. I don't know if there was some particular reason why, Kyrie's news came out, way ahead of the deadline. Harden's news came out 5 minutes after the deadline. But whatever the reasoning is, Harden will be opting out of his $47 million contract. And earlier today on SportsCenter, this situation Sixers are in now, Adrian Wojnarowski explained that this is the best case scenario for Philadelphia. Take a listen. Is ESPN NBA insider Adrian Wojnarowski on if Harden opted out. Now, we already know he has opted out, but why this would be the best case for Philadelphia is what he said earlier today.
In a perfect world for the Sixers, and I think in James Harden's mind, opting out of that deal and then negotiating a new contract here when free agency opens, it gives the Sixers a lot more financial flexibility to go and improve this team in the offseason. He can still get long-term guaranteed money, or certainly guaranteed money at a very high number over a couple of years by opting out, and it gives the Sixers the ability to add to their roster. They know they've got to get better.
That was Woj earlier today, and you heard him say, just right, this is the best case scenario, right? That this is a situation where, look, Harden is creating flexibility for this franchise, okay? And here's the, in real time report from Woj less than an hour ago when he said when Harden declined his $47.3 million, he keeps the real possibility of negotiating a new deal that would deliver the Sixers roster building flexibility in free agency, including use of the full $10.5 million exception. The opt-out could go a long way in shaping the Sixers bench, including a full mid-level exception, a biannual exception, and sign and trade opportunities. So Harden did the right thing. Harden said that it was important to him to win. He wanted to be in Philadelphia, right? He wanted to win with Embiid and with his organization. He wanted to be reunited with Daryl Morey. He wanted to play for Doc Rivers. He just showed you that winning is more important than the money. And I don't care who you are. I don't care what world you come from, what your circumstances are. Being happy is more important than maximizing a dollar. I think Harden is happy being reunited with Daryl Morey. I think he found the grass on the other side of the fence was not as green as he thought it would be. And I think that Harden realizes that in order for us to change how we perceive him and his legacy moving forward, you have to put your team in the best situation to win. Now, Harden can still make money long term, okay? It's not like he still can't make like $120 million over the next 3 years by opting out of the $47 million. But this is where it gets important. We have spent so much of our time as sports fans complaining about the athlete who chases the money, who doesn't care about winning. Now that Harden has done this, I hope every Sixer fan buys this guy's jersey, follows him on social media, jumps on the Harden bandwagon. Because Harden is telling you, I want to win. You don't look at Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving realized that the only way he was going to get the money that he wants was to opt into that $37 million contract. Now he's got to play for his next contract. James Harden already knows he has more value as a free agent long term than Kyrie Irving does. That's a powerful statement today. And now the Sixers can sign a PJ Tucker. Look at some of the other guys who just became free agents, okay? Bobby Portis, he's going to be a free agent. Wouldn't he look good in a Sixers uniform? Dante DiVincenzo, his option was declined from the Sacramento Kings. He's going to be a free agent. He would be very interesting as a guy coming off the bench for the Sixers. There's a possibility this team could walk away with multiple interesting players in free agency, and it's all because Harden opted out of that deal. Now, the assumption by everyone out there is that Harden is staying in Philadelphia. So we're going to operate under that assumption until we're proven otherwise. There's nobody out there who has put out any information contrary to that. This is going to be a very exciting offseason because if the Sixers can do half of the things that people think they can do, this will be a better team for next year. And that's really where the big deal is. Now, there's speculation from a lot of people, from Brian Windhorst and others, that Harden is going to lower his deal to the mid-30s, they're calling it. So even if the Sixers get him to sign for $37 million for next year, that's the $10 million you need for PJ Tucker. And then you make one more trade, whether it's unloading Korkmaz or Matisse Thybulle in a deal to get somebody else. Maybe somebody else has a sign-and trade deal on a smaller level. You can unload Korkmaz in or Thybulle. You get some more players in return. You already have DeAnthony Melton, and you expect to have PJ Tucker out there. You get one more guy. This team looks a ton better than they did last year. A ton better. Now, you're going to have to get better because the East is getting better. The Spurs just traded Dejounte Murray to the Hawks for Danilo Gallinari and 3 first-round picks. So the Hawks just got better today. The Miami Heat's going to bring in some dude or dudes who are going to come in there on special deals to bolster that roster. Then, okay, you have a situation where Boston will probably sign somebody. I know the Nets are not done making moves. If Milwaukee loses Bobby Portis, I guarantee you'll add somebody. I mean, for goodness sake, Patty Mills declined his option with the Nets. I wouldn't be surprised if Patty Mills goes to Miami or Milwaukee, to be frank with you guys. I can see him totally landing in either one of those places. So this is going to be a fascinating offseason. We are under 24 hours until the start of the NBA offseason. We will have everything you need to know right here on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, and 97.3 ESPN.com. On the flip side, the Phillies are exasperating, okay? And we'll touch on some of this with Dave Weinberg for a Weinberg Wednesday coming up in about 10 minutes. But Mike Gill asked me a question earlier today. He asked me, do I care about the DH? And I said, I don't really care. Because if the pitcher's hitting or Mickey Moniak is hitting, it's the same to me. Mickey Moniak is now going to be the starting lineup for 2 straight days. This is where I can't stand dude in baseball front office or bench who thinks he knows so much more than everybody else. Go take a hike. Take a long walk on a short pier. You're telling me that Mickey Moniak is going to bring more to this lineup right now than Odubel Herrera or Oscar Mercado can. His signed Mercado off waivers. Haven't even played him yet. Odubel's out there, but you got Moniak in center instead. And then what do? You call up this guy, Derek Hall, from the minors, who's having a nice year. He's automatically plugged right to the DH spot because Camargo's going to go on the injured list. So I thought all along, I call up Derek Hall, he'll hit, and you could bench Moniak. Now, Moniak's back in the lineup. And I heard Schwarber trying to make excuses for this guy last night. Look, Schwarber's trying to be a good teammate. He's trying to be a nice guy. The reality is that this organization keeps trying to shove Mickey Moniak down our throat. Okay? To me, it's the equivalent of somebody complaining about them trying to tell you how great their friend is so you go out with them. Stop telling me your friend's resume. I've met your friend. Your friend is not that great. Your friend lacks the depth and the personality adequate to go on a date with me. But you're still telling me your friend is great. That's what Mickey Moniak is to me. Mickey Moniak is the friend of your friend that everyone keeps telling you, you got to give him a chance. You got to give him a chance. And it's like, I'm tired of giving this guy a chance. Long walk, short pier. I'm done with Moniak. There's no reason for him to be in the starting lineup. I understand he has to be here to fill a roster spot because Bryce Harper's hurt. But there's no way that you can tell me that Mickey Moniak is a better option right now for the Philadelphia Phillies in this lineup than fill in the blank. Anyone. Mickey Moniak is hitting .226 this year. He has no home runs and 1 RBI. For as much as I've complained about Odubel Herrera, do you know what Herrera is doing this year? I don't think many people actually know how well Odubel Herrera is playing compared to Moniak. He's got a .230 batting average. It's almost the same. But Herrera's got 5 home runs. At least Herrera, when he's at the plate, gives you the threat of hitting a home run. Moniak doesn't give you that. You know who else gives you the threat of hitting a home run? Matt Vierling. He's got 3. Odubel Herrera's got 5. Herrera's got 5 home runs and 18 RBI. Moniak's got 1 stinking RBI all year. Moniak's slugging percentage is .143. There's no reason on earth this guy should still be in the starting lineup. But I'm sure there's some person who's telling Rob Thompson or whatever Gotta play this guy. Number 1 overall pick. This organization needs to get rid of this guy as soon as possible. They got to cut their losses. They got to move on. Because unless Derek Hall is going to get in this lineup tonight and bash 3 home runs, it's not going to make up for Mickey Moniak being a wasted player on this field right now. Look, I know there's a lot of rumors about players the Phillies are interested in acquiring. But right now, their biggest problem isn't who they're going to acquire before the deadline. Their biggest problem is getting it through their thick head that there's no reality that Mickey Moniak is a better option on the field than a Double Herrera or Oscar Mercado, who they picked up off waivers from the Cleveland Guardians. Josh Hennig here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle City. I'll get to your guys' thoughts and comments on the text board a little bit later. 609-403-0973. Keep them coming in. You also can DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle City. On the other side, it's a Weinberg Wednesday. Dave Weinberg joins me next to talk about a bunch of different things, from Eagles to boxing, baseball, and more. We'll get into it all coming up next on a Weinberg Wednesday. Dave Weinberg here with me, Josh Hennig, on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM. Don't forget the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. Listen to the Sports Bash with Mike Gill, Game Night with Josh Hennig, the Locker Room with Billy Schwein, all that and more right with the app, as well as all the updates you need on the Eagles, Sixers, Flyers, Phillies, South Jersey High School sports, and more right there at 97.3ESPN.com and on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app.
This weekend on ESPN Radio.
That's a 3-run home run for Paul Goldschmidt.
Paul Goldschmidt leads the St. Louis Cardinals into a 7-game NL East road trip that starts in Philadelphia against the Phillies.
Fly ball, left field, and gone. Opposite field home run, Kyle Schwarber.
The Cardinals and Phillies. Coverage begins Saturday at 3:30 Eastern and Sunday at 6 Eastern. Listen to Major League Baseball on 97.3 ESPN.
We're Town Square Media, and along with the awesome radio station you're listening to right now, we're publishers of best-in-class national entertainment brands like Taste of Country, Pop Crush, and more. And when combined with our local brands, we can reach over 70% of consumers in our community. At Town Square, all this digital clout puts us in a unique position to help local businesses grow with powerful marketing solutions. In addition to local radio, we're experts at web design and SEO, plus targetable advertising solutions like streaming TV, addressable geofencing, YouTube, Snapchat, Facebook, Spotify, search engine marketing, and so much more. That may sound like a lot of buzzwords, but really all that matters is we can deliver a relevant and ideal target audience to your business with data-informed decisions. No guessing, no waste, and you gain a trusted marketing partner with Town Square Media.
Take your business to the next level. Call our Director of Sales, Jim McLean, today at 609-910-5247.
By now, you know that sound. It's the sound of the Home Depot. But what about those sounds? Those are the sounds of a new laundry set that provides a powerful yet gentle clean in less time, making this the sound of savings on top brand appliances. The Home Depot. How doers get more done. Get up to 25% off plus $750 instant savings on select appliances. Valid June 22nd through July 13th. U.S. only. Gas dryer extra. See store for details.
Zero down toward the purchase of any new or certified pre-owned Nissan at Matt Blatt Nissan.
Oh yeah, it's on at Matt Blatt Nissan.
It's on at Matt Blatt Nissan. On approved Tier 1 credit through NEMAT. Negative equity will be refinanced into new vehicle plus tax tag at $479. Offers can't be combined. Call 877-289-6670 or go to mattblattnissan.com for complete details. Offer ends 7/3/2022. It's on at Matt Blatt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township.
Looking good, Mrs. Dub.
The head groundskeeper at Thad's Golf Course just retired.
We need to find someone in the next 2 weeks. Someone with botany and management experience.
He needs a replacement because the greens are already looking a little rough.
And aeration. They need to know it all.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Earn up to $500 in sponsored job credits by interviewing on Indeed. Visit Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Thinking about gas mileage? Quality oil like Valvoline Full Synthetic can help you get more out of every mile. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP extended life oil filter for only $36.99. Got an older vehicle? Try Valvoline Full Synthetic high mileage options. Get what you need for better fuel efficiency at any of our 6,200 stores or on AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
The seafood, extraordinary. The value, tremendous. The sunsets, on the house. The Boathouse Restaurant and Yuri's Waterfront Restaurant at the foot of the bridge in Wildwood. Experience the best of the Jersey Shore at Yuri's and the Boathouse.
You're listening to Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Keep the text coming in. 609-403-0973 is the text board. You also can DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle City. I already see people getting their heads in a tizzy about what I said about Moniak and Herrera. Look, I am not going to let go of this. Moniak should never start a game for the Phillies ever again. And the fact that he's in the starting lineup with a 143 slugging percentage and 1 RBI on the season is pathetic. I don't care number 1 overall pick. You know who was not a number 1 overall pick? Mike Trout. Now, Mike Trout's pretty miserable right now, too, apparently, if you saw the video from last night. But, oh, my goodness. So much to get to right now. Dave Weinberg joins us for an edition of Weinberg Wednesday here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. Dave, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, Josh. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. First of all, Dave, I wanted to offer you congratulations on very, very cool honor you received. Explain to the folks about the details of how you still covering boxing, you're still getting recognition for it. It's awesome.
Yeah, Josh. Thanks very much. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I was lucky enough to be to earn a couple of awards in the Boxing Writers Association of America's National Writing Contest. I did a story on I got an award in the news category for my coverage of a passing of a local trainer named Vincent Jackson, who had a pretty big impact on local boxers in the area. And then I also did a story, the one that got a recognition for feature for the implosion of Trump Plaza. I'm sure people remember that, but and then the effect that Trump Plaza had on boxing during its heyday back in the 80s. So yeah, it's a really cool honor. I'm really grateful and thankful that my work is still seen. And thanks to 97.3 ESPN.com for showcasing my stuff still.
I just think it's awesome to have you part of the team. I always enjoy talking with you each and every week. And
you.
I know how passionate you are about the boxing and the coverage of it. So it's just cool for me getting to know you, to see, you still getting the recognition you deserve, because you put work in it. It's not like you're just some guy, putting out a paragraph and that's it.
Oh, thanks, Josh. I really appreciate that. Yeah, boxing is one of those sports that I really I care deeply about. I'm just as I care just as deeply for the guys who are this 500 fighters, or the guys who just like struggling to hang on, as I am as world champions. You don't see world championship fights every day in Atlantic City. Actually, you don't see much boxing at all anymore, unfortunately. But I get much of a kick out of seeing like two guys who are just just in it for the love of the game as much as chasing championship belts. So, but thanks very much. I really appreciate that.
Speaking of boxing, I wanted to ask you about, Mikey Garcia retiring at 40-2 record. What were your thoughts on that? Because when I saw that news yesterday, I almost thought it was a fake story.
Yeah, very surprising. Yeah, I guess it's a credit to him that he wants to, get out while the getting's good. I guess, unfortunately, there's too many boxers who kind of hang on a little bit too long, who are carried out of the ring rather than walking out, so to use a metaphor. But it's yeah, that is surprising. I mean, he still has a lot of big fights left in him, but I guess there's other stuff he wants to do. So congratulations to him that he recognizes that, and I guess maybe just doesn't have the same passion that he had before. So when the passion is gone, it's time to do something else.
Yeah, it's been an interesting news week for boxing with Garcia, his retirement, and then Shakur Stevenson's going to defend his belt up. I think it's a September 23rd, I think is the day. So it's actually been an interesting week news-wise with boxing.
Yeah, it has. It has. And it's good to see. I mean, but boxing doesn't get enough attention sometimes. There's always you usually get the same old stuff about, who's going to fight who's ranked above what, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's good to see boxing back in the news again. That's sure. That's for sure.
What is Stevenson at this point? I know he's 18-0, but I don't even know, what does it mean for him at this point? Like defending all of his belts in September, like is that like a significant thing? Is that just another, chapter in the story? What is it at this point?
Yeah. I'm not sure, to be honest with you, Josh. There's no doubt that he's very, very talented, but it's time for him to really start to make waves in boxing. I mean, everybody knows that he's undefeated and a champion and everything, but he hasn't really been able to join that those so-called elite fighters. And it's about time for him to step up and start fighting bigger names and really start to showcase his talents. Hopefully this is a step in the right direction, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, no offense to the guy. I know he's 17-1, but I've never heard of, and I'm going to botch his name. Robson Conseco, I guess is his name. I've never heard the guy, never seen his name before. So, no offense to Stevenson, but it's like, on the same week that Mikey Garcia retires, Stevenson is fighting a guy that nobody's ever heard of. At least I haven't heard of him.
Yeah, I haven't either, to be honest with you.
If you haven't heard from him, we're all doomed.
Maybe I can write a story about
it. That'll be your next winning article. Who is this guy?
Yeah, right.
Click here to find out.
Especially if he wins, right?
Oh my goodness. Well, that would be just I don't know what the odds are, but I'm sure that Stevenson is a heavy favorite. The book.
Yeah, I'm sure too. Yep, absolutely.
Before you came on, Dave, I know you love baseball. I wanted to throw this out to you. Everyone's seen the video now of Mike Trout just so peeved with his pitcher just tipping his pitches.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
and it's like, on one hand, like I love it because I love it when athletes are authentic. But on the other hand, like to me, it's another example of Mike Trout did everything for the right reason, but his organization is not paying his belief in them. He's the one who re-signed with them. He committed long-term to the organization that gave him a chance, and all these other teams passed over him in the draft. And it's like outside of Ohtani, this organization just doesn't seem to be able to get anything right around the best player in baseball.
Yeah, it's another example of the frustrating nature of Mike Trout, and the Angels. It's just ongoing, never ending. They, I feel bad for him. But they are trying. You just haven't got it right, like you said. Like you said, he can. I have the utmost respect for Mike for re-signing with the team, and I told people that he was going to do that. Well, nobody really listened to me, but I know that loyalty is very big with him, and he wanted to commit to the team that gave him his chance, where so many teams bypassed him. But you're right. It's time for them to find a way they're pretty much wasting his career almost, really. The one playoff appearance so far, and it was a quick one and done. And I don't know what the answer is. Like I said, they're trying, but when you have like a game where he hits a home run, Ohtani goes like 3 for 3 or something with 2 home runs or 2 doubles or something in a home run, and then they lose 10-4. They were losing 10-4. I don't know what the final was, but something's wrong. They have to find a way to surround him, and they got off to a pretty good start this year. April was pretty good to them, but yeah, the injuries, and then they turned into the same old Angels. It's really a shame for him and for the franchise, really. I think fans.
I think part of the problem goes back to what Joe Madden told The Athletic after he was fired. He said, analytics have become too much. Like it's getting to the point where Joe Madden said you can't go to the ballpark and just have fun anymore. These analytics, these numbers have corrupted. And it's like, for me, I look at the Phillies right here. You're playing Mickey Moniak, who's playing like garbage. And I'm not saying that Dubal Herrera and Matt Vierling are better that much better, but they are better. You know what I mean? Like, Herrera at least has like 4 home runs and 18 RBIs this year. Moniak's got a slugging percentage lower than my career high school batting average, for goodness sake. Like, at some point, like, someone just has to say, I don't care what the analytics are. I don't care his number 1 overall pick. Tell the numbers guy to shut up and put baseball players on the field.
Boy, how do you really feel, Josh? I agree with you. I mean, I'm a Mickey Moniak, like, I don't want to say fan, but a supporter. I mean, there's a guy that's been around, dealt with so much both on and off the field, just his lack of confidence, the pressure that comes with being an number 1 overall pick, like you had mentioned before. But yeah, he's just not getting it. I don't know if he ever will, but yeah, it's clear that maybe they think that playing him every day or whatever, maybe that's the incentive that he needs. Maybe he just needs a little more time to develop, but it's not working so far. And you're right. I mean, Herrera and the other and Verling aren't really much of a replacement, but they have to do something. You're right, absolutely.
I mean, you can't have a batting lineup with. I mean, wasn't the whole point of getting rid of the pitcher hitting and putting a DH in to have better hitters in the lineup? Like, what's the difference between Moniak and Ranger Suarez hitting at this point? I don't know.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I guess Ranger is the better pitcher, maybe even better hitter now. Yeah, it's true. It's and it's a shame. Like I said, I really want Moniak to succeed. I'm really rooting for him, but he just looks lost. He really does.
Yeah, well, I'm going to put Moniak being lost in the same category as guy running Angels organization not building a good enough team around Mike Trout. I feel like it's the same type of people. It's like, hey, Mickey Moniak, number 1 overall pick. Hey, let's bring in fill in the blank pitcher and give, like, remember when they gave CJ Wilson that crazy contract with the Angels, and he just his ERA kept getting worse and worse. Like, at some point, like, dude who has job in baseball and can't get the job done, just stop letting them make decisions. I don't get it.
Yeah. You're right. I mean, there's too many businessmen doing things rather than baseball men or baseball people, I should say. Joe Madden was right that analytics seem to have entirely too big of a role in things. I mean, they do have a place in baseball and in sports.
Sure.
Don't get me wrong, but yeah, there's also there should be room for feel, for knowledge of the game, for experience with baseball. And there's too many guys that are just like X's and O's and numbers instead of guys who really know what it takes to win baseball games.
Dave Weinberg joining us for a Weinberg Wednesday here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle City, at Dave Weinberg 19 on Twitter. Now, Dave, I don't know, you've covered the Eagles for a long time, over 26 years. We knew that Jason Kelce was going to be bartending at the OD today in Seattle.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
But apparently, that what was the buried story that just happened was that Travis Kelce, his brother, and Jordan Mailata just show up as well out of nowhere with him.
So that's awesome.
It's turned into a whatever their goal was to fundraise today. I think they're going to break that number, because all the videos show the place looks like it's completely mobbed. And apparently, Travis Kelce and Mailata dropped into social media today's hint that they would be there, and all of a sudden there they are. Like, it's one thing to have probably the most famous Eagle in town in Seattle. Now his brother shows up and Mailata shows up. I mean, talk about a party.
Yeah, that's really cool. I'm glad that they did that. I mean, it's especially Travis. I mean, Jordan, it's nice that Jordan, Jason, but to have like a Pro Bowl tight end with your brother being there, that's a huge deal. And I'm really thankful that they were. I'm really glad and happy that they decided to do that. Like you said, the more the merrier there. It probably is a mob scene. I can only imagine. I mean, I haven't seen it, but I'll go check social media when I'm done here and see what it's like. But yeah, it's and Jason's that kind of guy. He's just a genuine, down to earth, good guy who loves to interact with fans and intermingle with the community. And he's done this. I think it's the second or third year doing this. And kudos to him and kudos to Jason and Jordan for joining him. That's really cool.
Yeah, of course, Travis is still wearing his, classic sunglasses. I feel like he wears it every media day for the Chiefs. So,
Yeah.
I mean, no offense to Travis, but Travis thinks he's like the coolest guy in the room. And it's kind of like, it's like borderline funny and like weird at the same time,
Yeah, those tight ends are a different breed, I guess.
Now, speaking of the Eagles, so I stole this idea from Crossing Broad, and I think you saw my tweet about this. But the question is that, who is a player from like Philadelphia sports fandom that fans love and appreciated, who the modern generation, like growing up or currently like young adults, have no appreciation for? Well, I couldn't give one name, but for me, Dave, I think part of the problem is that there's a lot of people who have no idea like what came before because they don't spend any time looking it up at all.
Yeah.
So for me, like, when it came to the Eagles, 3 names came to my mind immediately that people maybe today, like the young adult today, like the, let's say the 15 to 30-year-old might not appreciate. And to me, those names are Deuce Staley, Troy Vincent, and Irving Fryer.
Yeah, those are 3 great picks, especially, Troy and Irving were unbelievable players. I mean, guys who were like borderline Hall of Famers, really. They were just outstanding guys on and off the field. I got a chance to cover all those guys, Deuce as well, and that was a special time in the Eagles history to have those guys, kind of guys on the field with you. And you're right. I mean, the younger people have no idea who those guys are, and it's a shame because, you could probably name, 10 more the generation. I mean, Trey Thomas comes immediately to mind. He was one of the best left tackles in the league, but the generation now just has no idea who was John Runyon. Maybe they knew John Runyon from his political career, but they have no idea how good of a right tackle he was. I mean, he was Lane Johnson before Lane Johnson. And, there's a lot of guys like that. It's a shame because younger sports fans would do well to do a little bit of research and to look into the guys who came before the guys now. And that would give them a real appreciation for the franchise, and not just the Eagles, but Phillies, Sixers, Flyers, like you mentioned in your tweet. Those are all really cool names, really good names, and well deserving of recognition.
Well, a couple of the names I specifically picked out was because before some of those guys came to the team, like Fryer was a free agent when he got here, and Jim
People
Thome
probably don't. I don't know if people know that he was the number 1 overall pick.
With the Patriots,
and from Rancocas Valley too, being a South Jersey guy. And I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say is that one of the things that makes the players that I name significant, like, Fryer and Vincent with the Eagles, or Jim Thome with the Phillies, or, the Flyers guys like Eric Desjardins, these guys started with other teams. They were not homegrown. So for them to come here was a big deal when it happened. And it was like when Jim Thome came to Philadelphia, it was like, Philadelphia is not a joke anymore. When Fryer signed with the Eagles, we're like, he left Dan Marino to come to Philadelphia. Like, these guys changed the perception of the city.
Yeah, they did. I mean, then there was a time when, Philadelphia wasn't the most desirable destination for free agents.
Right.
Whether it was like the playing at Veterans Stadium or just the hostile fan base or teams that just weren't very good. But yeah, all those guys, Thome, Vincent, Fryer, and Desjardins, and everybody else that you have on your the fact that they chose to come here. I mean, I'm sure money had a lot to do with it, but still, they were able to change the culture, and that was a big deal because that's the reason why some of these teams have success now is because of what those guys, the groundwork that those guys laid back, years ago.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest part for me that I think younger fans don't understand about sports history is that, every fan base, every city, you can go to Boston, Chicago, there's some story about like how bad it was before fill in the blank guy showed up. You know what I mean? Like, people don't realize, how, poor the Eagles were, like, for example, in the 70s or,
they were awful. Oh my gosh.
Like, or like how bad the Sixers were before Iverson got drafted, or like, You know, you go to a city like the Mets, like the Mets were a laughing stock all the 60s until the Miracle Team. Like there's so much about sports history that like the modern young adult has no idea about because they spend all their time on TikTok and Snapchat and Instagram.
Yeah. It's an unfortunate part of society today, I guess, that there's everybody's about instant gratification and like you said, various social media outlets. They don't really take the time to dig deep and to realize, you know, what came before. And it's a shame because if they took the time, they did realize that there were a lot of special athletes and people that came through town that maybe didn't have the most team success, but were true to themselves and true to the city. And that's something that's unfortunately lost nowadays.
All right, Dave, one more thing before I let you go. On Twitter, you let everybody know that you went and saw Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah.
Speaking of a little history, Top Gun being that movie from the 80s that most people know the soundtrack to. You don't remember half the movie for some of them. But I'm with you. I loved it. I thought it was great. Yeah, it was a little predictable, but I love the fact that it connected. It wasn't just a completely separate movie. It kept the story going. And you're right. Miles Teller. First of all, I had no idea Miles Teller grows a great mustache. So kudos to him for that. Because they picked a guy who looked like he could be Goose's son.
Yeah, he actually looks like him. Yeah, it's really cool. I guess people may or may not know that he grew up in Lower Township, actually right down the street from me, as a matter of fact, and played Little League Baseball here and went to junior high before he moved away and subsequently became his movie star. I still see him every once in a while. He comes back and hangs out in Cape May in the summers. Maybe we'll see him again this summer. I don't know. I hope so anyway. But yeah, it was a really cool story. I mean, like I said, predictable, but I mean, the action scenes were unbelievable. And it was a natural progression. Like you said, it kept the story going. It was the next chapter in would say, you know, a pretty cool story and franchise. So yeah, it was, and I was really impressed with Tom Cruise. I mean, you know, all away from the screen, he's got some issues and he's a little bit of a different character, but he's no doubt the guy's a true movie star, and it was really neat to watch. I was really entertained, and that's really all you can ask for nowadays. Is just have a good time and be entertained at the movies, and that certainly fit the bill, I thought.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, Top Gun Maverick now is the highest grossing movie that is not a Marvel production in the last few years.
Wow, no kidding. That's awesome.
It has made first of all, it's made the most money as not a Marvel movie since the pandemic. And it's really, I think they said like it's been 4 or 5 years since a non-Marvel movie made this much money nationally and internationally. So, you know,
that was the first movie I've been to since the pandemic, come to think of it.
Is it really?
Yeah, I was really surprised at like the changes that like you have to like pick your seats beforehand. You get like assigned seats and stuff, and that's a totally new experience to me. I just never but I guess that's the world we live in nowadays, and it's probably not going to change anytime soon.
I don't mind the seat picking because at least for me, I get to kind of like determine. I go to movies by myself a lot, honestly. I'll admit it, you know. So I see a movie, like I saw Top Gun by myself. I didn't care. I was just like seat, boom, you know, go where I want to go.
Yeah.
The only problem with the seat picking is that the movie theater gets too packed and someone gets there before you and they grab your seat. Then you get in this like musical chair situation.
Yeah,
that's the only problem with it.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. It sounds like flying on Spirit sometimes, maybe.
Where did you see it at? Which theater?
Stone Harbor.
Okay.
Stone Harbor Square, I think it's called. Yeah.
Yep. Love that place.
My wife and I were just talking about this the other day. There's a time when there were, gosh, I don't know, at least a half dozen theaters in Cape May County that we would go when we were teenagers. We'd do that 2 in Cape May and 3 or 4 in Wildwood. And now I think Stone Harbor is the only one in Cape May County now.
Yeah, Stone Harbor is the only one in Cape May County. There is 3 in Atlantic County, if I'm remembering correctly now. And that's pretty much it. I mean, if I remember correctly, all the Ocean City ones are closed.
Yeah, I'm guessing probably right. Yeah, there was talk of reopening the one in Rio Grande, but it never came to fruition, unfortunately. But
yeah, that's a whole story that I know some information about that I can't divulge on the radio. But that's okay.
Maybe you can tell me later.
I will gladly tell you later.
Okay.
Let's just say it's stupid legal red tape. So.
Okay. Where did you see Top Gun? I'm just curious.
Harbor Square. That's where I went to.
Oh, okay. I really wanted to see it at the IMAX, the Tropicana. I think that would have been incredible, but I can't stay up that late anymore. It's at 9:00. So.
He's Dave Weinberg, Weinberg Wednesdays. You can follow him on Twitter at Dave Weinberg 19. Extra point columns over at 97.3 ESPN.com. And he's still winning awards for covering boxing. Dave, appreciate you jumping on today. Enjoy the holiday weekend. If we don't talk before 4th of July, happy 4th of July.
Oh, same to you, Josh. Have a great time, and thanks for having me as always. I appreciate it.
Josh Hennig here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle City. I got text to get to on the other side, 609-403-0973. You also could DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle City.
This summer, 0-2 on the way. Swinging a high fly. This is blasted out to deep right center field. Forget about it. Bryce Harper.
We plan on giving South Jersey something cool, because it's going to be a hot one.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Elevated the heater at 96 to get out of the inning. Heck of a job by Zach Wheeler.
Your official station for Summer at the Shore. 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Hey, I'm Jackie, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit is the chicken. It is golden brown, so juicy, so delicious. It's the perfect savory start to my day.
Hey, I'm Matt, and the little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit is the freshly baked, flaky, buttery biscuit. When I take a bite, it's kind of like, crispy, soft, crispy. Crispy outside, soft interior, crispy chicken. There's really nothing like it.
Start your day with the Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit, available on the Chick-fil-A app. Real Chick-fil-A guests paid for their testimonials.
By now, you know that sound. It's the sound of the Home Depot. But what about those sounds? Those are the sounds of ice from LG's exclusive slow-melting craft ice for better-tasting drinks, making this the sound of savings on top brand appliances. The Home Depot. How doers get more done. Get up to 25% off plus $750 instant savings on select LG appliances. Valid June 22nd through July 13th, U.S. only. Gas range extra. See store for details.
Okay, import footage. How is the hard drive already full?
Jawan's Pilates studio converted to entirely virtual classes.
What's MPEG?
But leading and editing sessions is stretching her too thin.
It says render failed. What I do?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Earn up to $500 in sponsored job credits by conducting interviews on Indeed. Visit Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
On July 1st, Chris Pratt stars in The Terminal List.
Lieutenant Commander James Reese, can you outline the details of your mission?
It was a setup. They knew we were coming.
Nothing in this file adds up.
From Antoine Fuqua, director of Training Day.
Answers or blood?
Blood. Stay off my list. The Terminal List. New series, July 1st on Prime Video.
With GMF financing, approved credit excludes Corvette and prior sales. There's big news just announced from Bennett Chevy in Egg Harbor Township. Bennett's got huge savings on every new Chevy in stock. And right now, this is huge. Bennett's paying a record-breaking minimum $10,000 for any trade, running or not. That's at least $10,000 towards any pre-owned vehicle in stock. And we're loaded with them, so we're having a pre-owned liquidation. Hurry in for a minimum $10,000 for even the worst trade. And just think how much more you'll get for a good quality trade. As for new Chevys, unlike other dealers, Bennett's not selling over a factory sticker. Plus, there's 0% available financing. Stuck in a lease? We can get you out early, any make, any model, and we'll buy your vehicle even if you don't buy one of ours. Stop in for a quick quote. Never any pressure, never any obligation, because our non-commissioned sales staff is paid on your satisfaction, not how much you spend. So come on and find new roads at Bennett Chevrolet, Egg Harbor Township, and BennettChevy.com.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Game Night being brought to you by American Airlines and Atlantic City International Airport. ACY now has your one-stop tickets to over 90 domestic and international destinations. Book your next trip today at AA.com. As promised, we get to some of your guys' thoughts and comments on the text board, 609-403-0973. You also can DM the show through the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Tom from Margate chimes in. Tom says, hey, Josh, I agree with you. Moniak is not our center fielder. I wish he was a Richie Ashburn type, but he's not. For now, Odubel is better. I have two questions for you, Josh. One, do you think the Phillies can win this series with the Braves? I'll start with that question. Here's the thing. They missed a huge opportunity last night. And you were 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position. That's just horrible. That's just completely unacceptable. So I'm concerned. I don't think they can win the series. They got a hard pitching matchup tonight. Last night was the game to win. Charlie Morton came in with a 4.8 ERA. That's a guy you take advantage of. And it's not like you didn't have guys in scoring position. You just squandered them. And part of the reason was because Moniak was in the lineup. But seriously, tonight you got it right. Wright is one of the Braves' best pitchers. It's going to be hard to win. You got to find a way to win this game tonight. I think you can win Thursday's game. Ian Anderson has been very vulnerable at times this season. I don't know if it's a slump he's in. I don't know if his mechanics are off. I haven't watched him a lot this year. I've only watched him once or twice at all this whole year, and he just looks off all year. So I think the Phillies can win tomorrow, but the key is tonight. Tom from Margate's second question is, do you think the Phillies should get help getting into the playoffs? Who do you think the Phillies should get to help us get in the playoffs? I mean, look, I love Daniel Bard from the Rockies. I think anybody who pitches well in Colorado is a guy that you want on your team. If you could pitch well in Colorado, you could pitch well anywhere, in my opinion. I think they need pitching help. I don't know what starting pitchers are legitimately available. Like, I think Martin Perez is going to call too much of a high price in terms of a trade. Same thing with Frankie Montas from the A's. I think you got to go bullpen pitching. I think if you get some bullpen arms, you can at least build up enough depth, enough, bodies out there that you don't have to worry about if a starting pitcher can't go. If you get fortunate and somebody becomes available, starting pitcher, I would go get him. But I think the best option is get some bullpen pitching and maybe get one more hitter for this team. I know Andrew Benintendi is the current rumor out there. The Royals left fielder who can play center field. Maybe he is the answer. He is a Gold Glover in left field. So I'd love to see if you walked away from the deadline with Benintendi and Bard. I'd be happy, Tom and Margate. I think that's the way to go. Tom Margate also goes on to say, do you guys think the Phillies can make the playoffs? Do we need another starter? I think it'd be a good closer. That's from Tom and Margate. I think they can make the playoffs. The question is, Tom and Margate, do they make the right moves at the deadline? Dombrowski's never been afraid to make a trade. The problem is that there have been times that Dombrowski has made trades and it's, it hasn't been as good as he thought. It happened a couple times in Detroit. He's at the deadline, makes a couple trades. Guys that work out as well as he thought. Other guys were perfect. When he made the Miguel Cabrera trade, when he made the Steven Pierce trade with Boston, those trades paid off more than enough for him. When he was in the Marlins, he's the guy who traded for Jim Eisenreich and Darren Dalton. Both of them helped the Marlins win the World Series in '96. So a lot going there. Another text at 609-403-0973 says, you're right about Herrera and Moniak. What is Thompson thinking? Never again for Moniak in all caps. Texas goes on to say Matt Vierling is a center fielder who should be getting to play every night. The problem with Vierling is that I think the Phillies are trying to get more lefty dominant lineups against some of these right-handed pitchers. And the problem is that Vierling's a right-hander. And I think that they want Vierling to get more options in the infield with Camargo going to the injured list. I think you're going to see more Vierling and Munoz in the infield and less Vierling in the outfield with them acquiring Mercado. Mercado probably is going to be the right-handed bat for center field. I just want to see less Moniak. I just think you need to have a threat. The hitter at the plate has to be at least a threat to the other team to be a danger, to be a problem. And I just don't see how There's never a point in time where I see Moniak come to the plate. I'm like, this is the moment. Here we go. No, you're just like, here we go again. There's no way Moniak is a better hitter than any of the Phillies pitchers right now. Zach Wheeler, Ranger Suarez, Aaron Nola, Kyle Gibson, Bailey Falter, who's starting on Friday, all of them. They'd probably all be better hitters right now than Moniak. Until Moniak goes on a scorcher where he goes 10 for 25 with a homer and 8 RBI over a stretch of games, I have zero faith in the guy. One game will not change my mind. Mark Whitten had 4 home runs in a game. We ain't putting him in the Hall of Fame. One game does not make a man. Kyle Schwarber's had a month. That's an all-star right there. Mickey Moniak, he's got 1 RBI on the season. Pathetic. All right, we're getting out of here. Wrapping up the hour. Thanks again, Dave Weinberg, for joining us for the edition of Weinberg Wednesday. I'll be back tomorrow. When I come on the air, it'll be the official start of the NBA offseason. So I'm sure there'll be some breaking news popping off tomorrow that we will have you covered all day tomorrow and Friday here on 97.3 ESPN FM. Of course, Mike Gillen's Sports Bash at 2 p.m. I'll be back at 6 p.m. tomorrow for game night. Don't forget to download the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Stay up to date on everything you need to know in sports and South Jersey.
Health Update with Robin Stoloff.